Welcome back. Sophiatown, the critically acclaimed South African theatre classic, is making a triumphant return to its original home at the Market Theatre. Now, multi-award winning the drama will run from the 27th of February to the 24th of March. The show features an exciting mix of productions, dance and a live band. For more on the production, we joined in studio by multi-award winning director and playwright Aubrey Sekhabi. Bro, Aubrey, a very good morning. Thanks for joining us. Welcome.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Good to see you. Good to have you on the show this morning. First of all, what inspired you to restage Sophiatown? Did you have any, concerns about taking on such a classic play?
Originally, it was not in my plans. I think when I started directing it, we wanted to produce it at the State Theatre, and then I met up with the director, the original director, Professor Malcolm Pecky, and said, we want to do this show. And he said, if you want to do it at the State Theatre, you better direct it. So I started waiting on it. So I did it a couple of years ago, and because it's also a prescribed set work for the grade 11, so we've been repeating it and doing it over again. And last year, the artistic director of the Market Theatre, Greg Homan, saw it and thought, we want this production back at the Market Theatre, where it originally started.
Yeah. And the original production was so groundbreaking, hey? And how then did you approach, revitalizing or revamping the original version to give it a more fresher appeal?
Look, the work is really well done. It's well created. It's been done by some of the most amazing artists this country has ever produced. The script is well written, so there's not much you can really do about the text. It's really a South African classic. But, one addition that we did was to bring a live band, because originally it was a cappella. I did it first with a cappella, but as you are doing it, and if you're doing it for the third time, you really want to change. You want to bring something new. So we decided to bring in a live band, which is quite relevant for the sort of work and the times that the production happened,
Yeah, speaking of which, what makes it so relevant, and why is it still a South African classic?
It is still a South African classic. It's amazing work. It's well written. It's about our history. It's like some of the things that it deals with are still relevant today. People were displaced in the land that they really liked. We still talk about issues of land today in the country. Some of the themes that it's touching on, it's violence, and you look at the violence that is happening in our country, gangsterism, which is really being touched on there. The music, the dance, you see South Africa today, the music is really flourishing, so you're bringing in that element is there in the production. So those sort of things make it relevant. It deals with the issue of abuse, because you have this character, Mingas, who's so abusive, who's a gangster, and you look at gender-based violence that's happening in our country today. So there are so many elements and so many themes that are still relevant today.
And what did you want to keep the same in restaging Sophiatown, and what did you want to do differently? I know you said that you will add a live band element into this, into this production, but is it the only feature?
I think it's the one feature that we brought on, but the text, it's so well written. You don't even want the actors to add one word. You just say no, it doesn't. We don't need that, because the work is so well done. The rhythm is there. If you look at the people that contributed towards the work, those were the people that lived there. That understood the rhythm, that understood the lingo. So that we really kept. But the cast is quite young, and I imagine the people that did it then, they were quite young. But yeah, you have to keep it as it is. I think, given that it's also a prescribed work, when you're performing it for some students, they come there, they know the work, they know the book. Sometimes as the actors are performing, they are actually saying the words there. So you're really trying to keep it like that, because for them, it's exams.
Yeah. And there's so many themes in Sophiatown, such as apartheid, race and identity, I would imagine. So what are some of the most important themes that resonate with today's audience?
I think identity, the issue of race. We also deal with loss there, in the production. Violence is one of the themes that is really captured in that. So some of those things, they resonate today.
And Sophiatown has a very strong political message to a point where it's even been labeled political theatre. So how important is adding politics into the production or into the scripting of this show?
the displacement of people, the destruction of Sophiatown, the resilience, because when they said we're going to kick you out here on the 12th of February and they came 4 days before, and it was the community, they gathered together, they wanted to defy it. I mean, eventually it was grazed down, but they gathered to defy because they were so defiant of the system, of the apartheid system. And that's important because all the people there, they were gathered. You had intellectuals there, you had politicians, you had gangsters. It was all these people that were gathered there, all this life, this vibrancy that was once there and which was just destroyed by apartheid bulldozers.
And Aubrey, which characters did you find challenging to direct and why?
The characters I found challenging to direct. I wouldn't really say challenging, but I think it was interesting. You have Charlie, who doesn't say much throughout the whole play and only speaks at the end when he speaks to Mingas. You have Mamriti, who's basically stuck on that one chair, and having to have her as a Shebeen queen stuck there, played beautifully by Cindy Nkuna, having to have her there all the time and still you have to feel a presence in that space. I think that was interesting to do. Ruth Golden, who's Jewish, having to get the prayer that she says in Hebrew, which is something that I never knew. I mean, even some of my Jewish friends, when they come there, they say, hey, but she's got to say it right. She's got to say this prayer right. So you're always trying to work on those things so that they can really be relevant and authentic.
All right. Lovely chatting to you, Ndada Aubrey. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Just share the dates again.
From the 27th of February until the 24th of March at the Market Theatre.
Okay, great stuff. Thank you. That was Artistic Director of the South African State Theatre, Aubrey Sekhabi, talking to us about the upcoming production, Sophiatown, that will take place from the 27th of February to the 24th of March.